Good afternoon, traders. This is AJ Trader 7 of of Awesome Calls Trading. I want to go over today's plays that we did on December 11, 2020, 14 days to Christmas. Every day, as everyone knows, that's been in our room or not in our room or going to be a part of our room, or everyone knows that um, every morning we get up and all of us moderators in here, Dark Side, Janny, um, you know, Jay, Ollie, Adam, we all have pretty much a pre-market idea of what we want to play. Each of us have our own scripted ideas that we like to play. And for what I do, since I'm the main guy in here, um, I basically write down, and I've been doing this ever since the room started. I was doing it before I did it, before I even had the room, because I always I'd always get up in the morning, find 5, 6, 7 ideas, write them down, script them out, put lines up, figure out where I want to go, where the stock's going to do. And so when I opened the room 8 years ago, I basically just did the same thing, except this time I had an audience to do it for. Instead of being on Twitter, I used to be on Twitter quite a bit, where I would say, okay, this stock is going to pop, and I would write ABC. I'll be like this: ABC stock is going to pop at the open at 18, like that, and then I will take it long then. This is how I started. That's how I built my following. Looking for 22, 22, and 23 plus on it. So I would tweet that like that, and I got so good that every 3 or 4 plays I put out, and I made money, and I did really well. Um, the stock would the stock did exactly what I said, and a lot of people on Twitter followed me and took those trades. And I was just kind of saying, hey, this is what I was going to do today. This is what I'm going to do, and I just got better and better and better at analyzing what the stocks were going to do. In our business, you know, um, the stock is everything. It's the characteristic of how a stock trades, what the market is doing for today, how the market is trading. You combine the two together, and you can't lose because you know exactly how the stock's going to react. Is the stock going to run up today all day long? Is the stock going to sell off and fade all day? Is the stock going to grind out? How is the stock going to react? And if you understand the characteristics and read through the news and understand how to read the news and interpret it, you too can know the direction of the stock before it even moves. And that's why we do these videos, because a lot of you, you rely heavily on, so especially for small cap rooms, you rely paid chat rooms, you rely on that individual possibly telling you what the stock is going to do or not do in their opinion, and that's what you pay for. And then there are other rooms that just pump a stock and just they make money on the 50-cent move, and then voila, look, everyone's rich. But the only people are rich are the ones that got in before it popped and announced. And then you get the other ones that just kind of, you got a wide open, and this is the majority of the rooms that everyone is out there. They open a room, they charge you 160, 180, $200, and they just got over, 3, 4, 500 members, and they're all talking at once. They all got an opinion of a stock, and those are the absolute worst loans. I mean, worst chat rooms to me. Those have so much noise in there that you can't have. There's no clarity. You're lost. Yeah, you want to be part of a community, and that's wonderful, but how can you be a part of something if the whole purpose of joining a chat room is to three things: to learn, to make money, and to learn. Okay? Those are the three things: to learn, to make money, and to learn. Okay? Emphasis on learn. You need to learn this business because this is a business, and you need to read and understand through a mentor's eyes, a coach's eyes, somebody who's been trading more than 10 years. If you're in a room that's less than 10 years, you're really not in a room. You're just in some dude's basement, and he's just giving you an opinion because maybe he's pretty good for the last couple of years. But you're never gonna be that real trader. Because think about it. If you've been trading for 4 years, you go in a guy's room that's only been trading for 2 or 3 years, and he proclaims he's the best mentor in all the world, and he's better than any date trading chat room out there. How much are you going to learn? You're already a year ahead of his 3 years. All right, so you might learn a different style. might be a little bit more unique, yada, 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 but is he smarter than you? How long before you just actually stop being in that room? Because you're going to realize at that moment, like, what am I doing here? I'm only going to learn what this guy's learned for 3 years. And where did he learn from? He learned from a guy who's been doing it for 10, 20 years. All right. So now that he stopped learning from that guy, so this is kind of like all I'm going to get from this guy. And that's why their plays are limited. That's why their knowledge is limited. And that's where you see a lot of noise, where you allow people to come in from all facets of stock trading and they just talk. And then, like, and I used to be in those rooms, and it was so frustrating. Okay, case in point. All right, today. All right, now I just want you to go with me here. Today we wake up and Disney. Yesterday after hours, um, they made investors happy. I mean, their revenue now. Yes, their parks are closed, and they've been closed, and COVID has been very difficult. You know, but I want you to take a moment. By closing those parks, it's almost an offset balance, to be honest with you, because yes, the parks do make a lot of revenue, but they have thousands and thousands and thousands of employees. So they're not paying anybody anymore. So, I mean, they're keeping the parks maintenance clean and so forth, but you understand what I'm saying? Nobody's doing the rides. Nobody's sitting there taking your ticket. Stand in line, number 2, 3, you're in section 4, 1. All right. There's nobody there. So they're actually saving, in my opinion. At the same token, and we all miss Disneyland. Come on. I'll go, but you can't go right now. So what are they doing? They're just massively bringing content and advertising for their streamlined service, and it's blowing up. I mean, did you see this? They expect in 2024, which is only, think about it, that's just not a number anymore. That's a few years down the road. 230 to 260 million paying subscribers. And think, with what they're doing already, and then they're going to go raise $1 on that fee. Yeah, to an average family, paying $7.99 to $8.99 isn't that big of a deal. I mean, are you gonna say I'm gonna discontinue that service because it's $1 more, it's 99 cents more? No, no, you're gonna keep it. Your kids love it, your family loves it. It's entertaining. You get to watch stuff, right? They're putting preview movies on there. It's like Disney just keeps doing better, so investors are happy. Not just investors, banks, analysts, they're all happy. So what happens today? Some of the tier 1 analysts come out and upgrade the stock to 192. Now for Disney to get a 192 price target, that's huge in our industry. If you're a day trader and you know anything about Disney, B of A coming out and saying this is worth 192 based on this information, okay, Disney's going to play today. See, that's the bottom line. It's no longer $160 stock. That's gone. It's over. Now we're talking 175, 180 today, and it's going to get there. All right. It's just like Roku. Roku keeps giving subscribers. They keep expanding, right? And then so next thing you know, the price targets are 200, then 250, then they go up to then they're at 290, then they're up to 300, and they just keep going, huh? Kind of like what Fubo is going to end up doing one day. Fubo just every time they're just looking to expand, and I love it because Fubo's just going to keep going and going and going and going, in my opinion. But Disney today was just an amazing thing there. Okay, Disney was amazing, and so so today I had to play it. I had to play it, and I played it 4 times, and 3 or 4 times, and I played it with 1,000 shares on each time to scalp it. Um, it was such a wonderful trade. But what happens is when you're in a room and somebody, let's say a moderator or the mentor, um, says, I see Disney running at least 8 to 10 points today to the upside. What happens when you have an open chat room? What happens? Have you ever thought about that? Now all of a sudden, you've said something or you typed something, right, in the room, and now it's open to interpretation for 300 other people, 400 other people. And so what I used to do, especially coming into a room, and I only been trading maybe a year, 2 years, at that time, I would go, yeah, I want to long Disney. I like that idea. But then what happens is, next thing I know, some other guy or person or trader from South Dakota writes, "No way, that's not going to go. It's subscriber vision is not," and they put in their own analysis. In my opinion, it's a short idea. I think the stock will fall, and then everything about my mojo, my momentum, my everything is gone. You know what I do? And I shake my head. Damn it! Darn it! Shucks! I can't trade Disney because of that one person's comment. Because you know why? Because I think to myself, what if he's right? What if I put in 200 shares, 100 shares? The stock at that time, the stock was $65. What if it goes down? Darn it! What if that happens? What if he's right? And so there comes the doubt, the anxiety, and then I just go, okay, let me see if there's something else to trade. And then another trader would come in. That's really great news. I disagree. I think it would go up. But then it's too late. I've already read what the person wrote, and I don't even know the person. You know? And the next thing you know, then you watch the stock rip 8 to 10 points. And then you say to yourself, I could have played that. I used to do that almost every day for years and years. I would always get discouraged and until I decided, you know what, I'm tired of listening to noise. And I told myself, man, one day I'm going to be one of the greatest, known as one of the greatest teachers, mentors, and traders in the world. And I promise, if I ever open a room, there is no way I'm going to open it for everyone to talk. I'm going to only have a handpick individuals that can type. I'm going to be the main, and I'm just going to let the chat room run. I don't want anybody's opinion, but the people that have earned for me to listen to them. And it takes a lot to be a moderator in our room: leadership, humbleness, consistency, knowing. You could hear it first 5 minutes someone on the microphone, on the mic, if they're knowledgeable or not, the way they look at trades and how they interpret the moves and so forth. So for us, Disney was a solid win. So I didn't want to be there. I won't allow somebody to come in and go, well, I disagree 100%. Now, if a moderator in our room said, AJ, I don't see that. Did you look at this news? And that rarely happens. It's rare that we have um, any kind of those. That's with you, Charles, not me. Okay, that's you. It's rare that we have any kind of that in our room. We're pretty much always on the same page. We see the same thing. And so, in the essence of Disney, once we saw these upgrades, we saw the pop after hours, and then this morning, upgrades. Okay, upgrades told us right then and there that the stock was going to rip even higher. There was no question about it. It didn't matter if the stock was gapping up 10 points after hours. That stock was going to run. With these kind of upgrades, especially from tier one, shorts were going to get squeezed out. The stock was going to have a nice run. Fresh money was going to come in. Why not? Why not? If they do reach these goals of 230 to 260 million, the stock is a $250, $300 stock. But each quarter that they come out with, or news or events, and they let investors know, investors will keep buying the stock. And today, funds came in and started buying up the stock long term for their Disney clients. And so we in Awesome Calls followed that and said, you know what? Let's let it rip. So the way we looked at Disney today on our list was, we made it number 8. Disney was going to clear 168. Now, mind you, the stock is up 14. Okay, this is where Awesome Calls becomes just the elite. Okay, to a lot of people, it's a pop and short. Oh, well, it's up 14. It's got to sell off. No, you're not understanding the full understanding of the news. You do not understand the characteristics of Disney. And therefore, because you're short-minded, because you don't know enough, and you're not listening to the analysts, because nobody's taught you to, you're the ones that's going to get in trouble trying to short a stock that's in high momentum, that's going to be bought up. In my opinion, Disney was going to go to 168 and then go to 175. That was the decision that I made this morning. And I will play that based on that information. If it was going to short, then I needed Disney to really truly snap 166 on the pullback. Then the most I could probably get down, if anything, would be 162. And then it would probably bottom curl and make its move to the upside. It wasn't going to sell off very much. It certainly was not going to gap fill. There's nothing to indicate here to gap fill. But on the long side, once I cleared 168, the stock was on. The beauty of the stock, it had so much momentum that the stock wanted more. And based on the analysis of these analysts, my decision in the chat room was if it clears 175, you have room to 180. After that, I think you need all to calm down. So 175, I'm comfortable, and then between 180 and most likely probably stop at 180, 182, 185-ish. Unless, of course, a tier 1 analyst comes out, there's still a few more out there, and say, this is worth 220, this is worth 250. Now you will get even more upside. But until then, so we played Disney today. And now you watch the trade. No interruption, one person on the microphone. You see Disney, how it gapped up. And here's the gap up. There's the 14 points. And yet we were still long bias in our room. And I want you to notice the 166 snap I was referring to. When I look for a snap, you see how the stock hits 178 and just snaps, just goes pow. Okay, so at 166, that's really what I was looking for. Just a pure snap. And I wanted to come to this area right here. You see this area? Right there. See how it opened up this morning at 1 o'clock in the morning? That's what I was looking for. 162 to 160, right there. I was still going to keep a majority of this gap, but I just wanted a little bit more to pull back so I can get a nice big fat run in it. Well, if you notice, there was really no huge snap at 166. You see it? Not like here where it did boom, boom, boom. Just a massive snap. There wasn't. It was just one pull and consolidation. And I was trying to short this because I went in with the idea at 166. I wanted to yank it. And it kept biting me. So I went once, twice. I was doing small, 500 shares, 500 shares. It kept biting me. I'm like, okay, it doesn't want to break. So I stopped. I stopped right there and said, okay, it's not going to break. So then I waited. What was I waiting for? 168. Once I cleared 168, I knew the stock was going to clear the 170, and it was on. And now look at the trade. It did exactly what I thought. Cleared 168. See that? Buyers came in. Look at the clarity of that. And it was off and running. Once we broke through 170 support, now we could literally walk it to 175. And that is exactly what we did in our room. Once it hit 175, there was still more buying. There was no stopping it. So what was the next targets? 180, realistically, 180, And I think that's pretty much where it'll kind of settle down a little bit. And it hit 178, and you could see the topping on it. That's a lot of resistance right there. Just like it said, okay, we're exhausted today. 14 points yesterday, another 10, 11 more today. Let's relax a little bit. Okay, it's not to say it won't go through 180, but for today on a Friday with the Dow being down 100, 200 points, this was a magical, I use that word, magical trade to be done today. You could have played, and the beauty of Disney is you could be buying calls. If your account wasn't big, you could have been buying 175 calls at the open. You could have bought, contracts, a bunch of them. What you don't want to do is short the stock. Once the short stock showed you, which stocks do, they show you. Okay. Now, let me just go over a few small cappers. Okay. VTVT, for instance. All right. So let's look at VTVT. Now, I called for a short to $3 today. That's what I called out. A short to $3. In order for me to long the stock based on pre-market and the gap up, the stock had to hit through 5 with volume. If it didn't hit 5, I wasn't interested in it. Now, I've been doing this a long time, and I have traded VTVT over the years. So I understand, which a lot of you new people, 3 years and younger, 5 years and younger, you still haven't developed a lot of skills in that area. You don't know characteristics of each stock. Imagine me going on Twitter this morning saying, I'm shorting the stock to 3 with size. It won't break through 5, and as soon as it pops, lower lows will set in. I'm shorting at 420 with 10,000 shares. Twitter would go crazy. Like, what are you doing, dude? Where do you get that from? Experience. Long experience understanding the characteristics of the stock. The first thing you have to determine is why it's up to begin with. Okay, so why is VTVT up? I don't even think it registered here on Fly. Nope, didn't even register on Fly. So why is VTVT up? Let's say you trade Newsware. And we come over to Newsware, and basically, I want you to look at the 8K. Okay, so basically, all right, 2 directors or people involved in the company, all right, bought $1 million worth of stock at $1.60. So I want you to think about that for a second. Once I saw that, it was an automatic short. Can anybody in the chat room tell me why? Can anybody on YouTube that's listening to me tell me why? Why would it be a short? I mean, they just bought $1 million worth of stock. Why would it be short? They must know something. Traders, if the stock is sitting at $5 and they bought it, a couple weeks ago at $1.60, okay, so why is that? Why are you going to buy it at 3? Why are you buying it at 4? Why are you buying it at all? Why don't you wait for the stock to come down to $2 and under? Maybe start a position at 3, goes to 2, have a 250 average if you really, really want the stock. But why would you buy it at 4 and 5 and 6? What are you doing? Are you just chasing because somebody bought? So it's a short. It's a short to $3. And so what you have to do when you analyze a stock like that, you have to give realistic numbers to a day trader. And for me, because I act like an analyst when I talk, I'm looking at volume, how much volume, how many eyes are on it, what the news is. So I interpret all of that and I tell myself, this is not going to gap fill today. So get that $2 out of your head. But you will have a slow fade to at least 3. And so I write it down. I script it out for the day trader. I make it the number 1 trade, which you will find a lot of chat rooms will copy and paste the idea. They can't think for themselves, so it's easy to go into Awesomecalls, join their service, look at his number 1 pick, go in their room, copy and paste it, and then take credit for the trade. And you will see many traders today in other chat rooms bragging about VTVT, how they knew it was going to go down to 3. Okay? So if you look how we wrote it up, I would not long unless it cleared 5, which it didn't. If it had a small push at the open and then snapped the 4, the stock would come down to 3 and under. And that's exactly what it did. It's a scripted stock. The next one we did today was FAT. Now, I've never heard of FAT. This is honestly, I'm being real with it. I've never traded FAT in my life. This is the first time. I'm like, what's FAT? What do they do? I thought it was Fat Burger for a moment there. It's like, isn't that where people would eat hamburgers? I didn't know what they did. But all I knew was the stock was gapping up over $9, $10, almost 13 this morning in pre-market. Like, boy, that news better be something. So the first thing I do is I want to investigate the stock. Why are you up? I don't know the direction of the stock, what it's going to go. All I know is it's ripping in pre-market. But I'm not a chaser. I'm an analyst. All right? I want to analyze what that stock is going to how it's going to perform today. So let me read the news. So I come over and I go to Fly on the Wall and I punch up flat. And FAT says that we are going to combine with Fox Center Capital Group. Great. Anything else? No. Okay, so let's read it now. FAT announced entered an agreement with FOG, Cutter Capital, the company's controlling shareholder. So you kind of buying yourself, all right. The merger is intended to provide FAT brands with increased flexibility on financial flexibility and corporate structure. Uh, where's the money? Did that bring value to the company? Is it accretive to the company? Where's the money? I don't see no money. So why are we up? I don't know. Well, you literally can't answer that question, can you? So you're up because everyone thinks it's, oh my gosh, they're fat brands is going to combine with fog. I better buy it. See, that's a Robin Hood trader right there. That's a chaser, right? We don't chase in awesome calls. Never. We analyze it. And what do we do on this one? We laughed at it. And what did we say it would do? Pop and fade to 7. Scripted it. Stock's going to 7. I don't care if it pops. If it pops, it might run a point, maybe 2 tops. But at the end of the day, it's 7 and under. You want to see the trade? Ding, 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 ding. Fat. There's the gap up. And then here's the sell-off. It's already at $7.23. You know what this was this morning? These were smart short sellers building positions, trying to get as much as they could. Probably because they read our notes to go to 7 and under. You see how the play was dissected? You see how it was analyzed? Do you see how you prevent day traders from losing money by not chasing crap? Let's do another one. I mean, I could do this all day long, but I'll do 2 more for you. CGRO. Now, you look at these stocks, and they're small cap. Now, imagine if you had a source, a real source that you could get shorts on daily on crap, on stocks like this. Imagine the amount of money you could make. You wouldn't even need to leave. You wouldn't even touch the big cap stocks. You wouldn't have to. You just size in 2,000-3,000 on each of these with very little buying power, and you short them. Short, short, short. And a lot of you don't. Well, I don't want to short. I don't short stocks. Okay, so you only long them? Yeah, I just don't like shorting. But what if you could? What if you had that ability to know that the stock is going to come down? It's not going to go up. What if you did that every single day? You could pick out 2 or 3 stocks, $10 and under, put 2,000 shares each on each of those, and short the stocks point and a half to 2 points. How much more money would you make more than a guy trading, let's say, at Disney? Money's money. As long as the stock performs the way we think it will in awesome calls, it's money. So to me, in my opinion, CGRO was going to sell off. Let's figure out why. Okay. So again, we go to the scanners, and we want to first determine why it's up. Fly on the wall has nothing to talk about. Come over here. We go on Newsware now. Newsware says we're up because, where is it? That's on the 4th. It looks like, here's the 11th. So here's the news, right? It says, to publicly listed through business combination with CGRO in a transaction sponsored by Atro Capital and Perception Partners. Transaction, so it's basically a transaction. Okay, I don't see anything for the shareholders. Once again, I just see somebody coming in, putting a bunch of contracts together, maybe something down the road, everyone will make their money. But as an investor today for us, I don't see anything here. But did you innovate something? Did you do something? We were founded in 2016. You're still a baby company. I mean, what do you do? We bring automotion to the entire mobility market. Everybody can do that. Just turn your key on an engine. I mean, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. That's why you're up? Okay, come on. All right, so we have to script it. So we come over here to the notes. What do we do with it, AJ? Hey, if this clears 17, you get an extra point. In my opinion, snaps 1450. There's nothing left. Slam it down for another point. So I'm thinking the stock will come down to 1350 and under and be done with it. There's nothing there. So once again, another short. Ding, 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 ding. Can't even clear 17. You scale in short. Once it snaps 1450, stock will come down another dollar. There's 1340. 1,000 shares, $3,000. Maybe $4,000. 2,000 shares, $8,000. Because you knew exactly what the stock was going to do before it even traded the open. If you read through the news, the stock it'll script itself. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a stock that's kind of in play. And it's not often I do it on YouTube. This is a new stock. It's called Ride. You know? And Ride, if you look for the last 5 days, has sold off. Pretty significant. Okay. And kind of put a puzzle together, sold off for maybe investors to get a nice solid position before what? Before a tier one analyst comes out and says, you know, that selling for the last 4 days? Well, we think it's worth $31 a share now. Go, 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 go. That's right. Goldman Sachs has decided to put their name behind it and now are saying the stock is worth 31. So the Dow's down 150, 200 points, right? Maybe 300. I don't know what it's doing right now. And yet the stock is still gapped up a point, point and a half. What does that tell you? This tells me it's a beautiful swing idea. Goldman has been right on from NEO to Tesla, and I can go on and on. In the EV business, these guys have been spot on. They have been really spot on. So why would Ride be any different? So the way Ride works, when you're building a swing position, you don't ask about it every 3 seconds like some new traders do. What about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? What do I do? Every 5 seconds. Oh, move down a cent. What do I do? It moved down 6 cents. What do I do? Okay. All you do on a swing idea, you calm down. That's the first thing you do. You stop talking about it. You look at the stock, it's gapped up a little bit. Try to get the gap as close as you can. Get a nice bottom curl and long the stock. Build a position, hold it for 3 or 4 days, and you're all good. Okay? So today, Goldman came out with 31. So what I did was my suggestion to the chat room was, look, I like it. I think it's a swing idea to 25 with Goldman behind it. All right? So it's had a sell-off the last 4 or 5 days because Wolf Research said it was worth 14. But now Goldman's aboard and saying it's worth 31. I'm going to kind of listen to Goldman more than Wolf. Okay? I don't know Wolf enough. Right? So I'm going to listen to a tier one that's proven themselves versus Wolf that's been trading for a while. I don't know. It's not my thing. I don't know you. All right? You haven't done enough picks for me to see that you can really move a stock. So in this instance, we're already gapping up 2 points. Now, I'm not going to buy that gap. I'm not going to be buying at $20.20. I want some sort of pullback. So if I can get it to 19, 1870, because we closed at 1817. So if I get anything in the 19s, even 1950, 1930, 1940, get started. Get a small position, just a little position. Give it room all the way down to 18. Have an average, bottom curl, and let the stock move, especially with the Dow being down the way it is. I love these type of stocks. But today we got lucky because those that were able to buy at 1950 actually got their money early. I'll show you how. By following the scripted notes, we were able to identify on the pullback this morning, right around here, to start building position around 1950. You see that? Now, I did feel at that time the stock was still going to come down a little bit more to 1850. So I suggested to traders, I like this 1950 as a starter. Well, guess what? It ripped to 2150, and anyone in the chat room could have sold it for a 2-point gain just because. So now that those that missed this entire move this morning now have to wait their turn. So now you see the stock selling off, and so room down to 1850. Nibble a little bit, nibble a little bit at 19, nibble a little bit at 1950, and then we should get that nice curl back up to over here. I like to see 23, 25 on it in the next coming days. So we'll see how it plays out. Okay. AJ, are the pre-market lists randomly priority 1 is the best, 10 is the worst? I have never in my life been so insulted by a day trader. Wow. Can you believe somebody just wrote that? I can't even believe it. That's the most insulting thing a day trader could ever say in this room. My trades, my ideas, and my thoughts are all pure. They're just different price targets. We start at $1, $5. I always start smaller stock first, then I go into medium stocks, $20, $30 stocks. Then I go up to $40, $50 stocks. And I go $50 to $100 stocks, $100 to $300 stocks, and then $500 and above. So I have my people with small accounts, they can trade the first 5 or 6 trades, or in most cases the first 2 or 3. And then I move up. I have 600 day traders in the room, Alejandros. Not everyone's going to trade a $6 stock. I have people that want to trade 10,000 shares of Disney. I have traders that want to trade Netflix. I have traders that want to trade QS with 18,000 shares. I have CVAC. I have traders that want to trade a $130 stock. There is no worst idea. If I had worse ideas like you point out, I wouldn't have a chat room. I wouldn't last one day in this business. So thank you for your insult. All right, let's get back to it. So right now, 1955, so 1950 is where so that's where it came down right here. So it does have a little bit more room, but it is a Goldman Sachs call. So I do give it a lot of validity. And last but not least, I wanted to talk about SONOA. Yeah, SONOA. So on SONOA, to me, the one thing you have to do when you're trading a stock like a SONOA, you have to look at the characteristics of the stock. And unfortunately, SONOA is one of these stocks that is branded that it sells off on every pop it gets. And I'll show you. So how do you do that? How do you determine the history of a stock and the characteristics? So what I do is I like to go, I first go 180 days. This is a really good calendar, a really good thing to look at. And I want you to learn this because this will determine a former runner and how a stock's characteristic is built. A lot of traders don't know what it means by stock characteristic. Well, a characteristic is when you understand before the stock even trades how the stock is going to trade out for the day. Is it going to be long all day or is it going to be a short? What determines that, AJ? Well, if you notice, and I want you to look very carefully, just in the last 6 months, you see this? You see how it pops and dumps, pops and dumps, pops and dumps? See how many times they come out with news? So this right here in the last 6 months has predetermined 3 things. They cannot hold their gaps. It's a crap stock. It always gets sold off. It's great for short sellers. And you can't wait for the news. Because no matter what the news is, it is already showing you that it can never hold its gains. This is essential to predetermining what a stock will do and how it will trade out. So once I saw SONOA scripted across CNBC on a ticker watch, telling me it was up, I think 5, 6, 7 points or whatever it was, I immediately said to myself, that's short. There is no long on that stock. None. Boom. It's just a short. It's a fade all day. And it's going to actually fade all day and then fade even more on Monday. It's going to keep coming down, and then they're going to do an offering. I didn't even need to read the news. I just knew what it would do. But let's read the news. Let's do it together. So what was the news on SONOA? Okay. So we come over here. We go on Fly on the Wall. And we see right here, Sonoma Crown Laboratories to partner with launch microcurrent OTC products. Okay. Now, what doesn't stand out in this headline? We entered in a license and supply agreement for exclusive rights to sell and market products to over-the-counter dermatological market in the United States. Okay. I hear you. I think you said that 20 times. Where's the money? How much are you going to make? It's going to be added to your quarter. Where's the benefit for the investors? Where's the money? Did you just add $3 billion to your market cap? Are you going to give me a dividend? No. We just entered an agreement. Okay, so you took a napkin at Bob's Big Boy and said, hey, let's have an agreement. And the person spilled a spaghetti and kind of put his name on it with his finger. Yeah, that's all you have as far as I'm concerned. So am I going to buy that stock, long it to the upside to go to $100 a share? Absolutely not. I want to short the stock, gap fill it, take it down. There's nothing in your headline that tells me this stock is going to run. So come over here. We script it out. Gapping up 620. Do not buy this unless it clears 1450 with a million. I need a million two buyer. If it does, you might get it to 16 bucks. After that, it is just going to be a pure sell-off. Once it snaps 11, you go to 859. That's it. It's going to pull, snap 11, head to 9, and you're done. It's an all-day fader. There's nothing here. But to a short seller, if you're a short seller with big size, SONOA is your baby. Oh my gosh, you're going to make $10,000 today on 3,000 shares. It's your baby. You can't lose because you read through the news. So you predetermined everything before the stock even rang the bell. That's right. So you're telling me right now that this stock is going to $9. It doesn't matter if it's at 14, 15, 16 right now. It's going to 9. Yes, it is. How do you know that? It's just a characteristic of the stock. I've traded it for 10 years. I understand the stock. Now let's take a look at the stock. Ding, 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 ding. Couldn't even get through 15, 16. These were fat fingers. And guess where the stock ended up? $9. Imagine 1,000 shares here, 1,000 shares here, 1,000 shares here. How about just 1,011? And you broke 11. Look at that. And look at it. Keeps selling off. Do you know why? Because nobody. Oh, look at this. Live video. Live. And look where it is. 9:01. What a way to end on a Friday. You see that? Even if you had 1,000 shares here, you made $300 while I was doing the video. Did you see that? This is what makes Awesome Calls the most unique chat room in the world. By educating and teaching a trader how to read through the news, you can pretty much predetermine what the stocks will do before they trade out. Does this happen overnight? No. It takes years and years, but what I try to do is cut those years and years off. So in 3 to 6 months, you become self-sufficient where you start to see this stuff on a pattern. But it takes time. A good solid year in here, you really start to see the characteristics of the stocks. And that's really what it comes down to. That's what makes a chat room like Awesome Calls superior to any other room out there. We're not flashy. We don't advertise on YouTube. We're word of mouth. We're on Twitter, and that's it. All right. We don't have commercials. We're not on CNBC. We're not talking, I'm the best trader. I make $16 million from $10,000. No, we're just day traders. We're a community of some of the greatest day traders in the world that come in here, look at an idea, we tell you how to interpret the news, how to read it, and it's up to you to pull the trigger. I can't make you do anything. It's your money. All I can tell you is if I'm looking at this stock and I'm reading the news, the stock is going to come down at $9 and under. And when it does, all you can do is look up and go, wow, wow. Okay? Most important, before I close out, when you pick this business as a form of making money and you dedicate your life to it and you dedicate yourself to this, you all will become AJ. You will all become better than AJ. You will all start to see the light. And when you do, that is when your consistency will come in. But you got to give it your all. You can't give day trading just a part of you. You got to give it your all. And if you do that, the rewards will supersede anything you've ever thought. Because then you will go in with size and conviction, and you have a positive energy about yourself. Your whole mood changes. You become invincible. Because why? Because you can see the move before it even makes the trade, before it even trades. I love you all. It was a wonderful week to trade. I think I made just under 5,000 for the week, which is fine by me. I got to trade with wonderful people. The room grew this week. How many members did we get so far? I think we're up 31, 32 more new monthly subscribers. Annuals are signing up. Everyone's happy. But you got to keep learning, keep digging. Okay? And if you do this, you join Awesome Calls, and you're in this kind of environment, how could you not succeed? And I hope this video helped you. All right? Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate that. Thank you. We are Awesomecalls Trading. And you can go to any of our links, hit it, and bam, there you are. Scroll down, and we are there. Okay? So that's today's video.